Hello dear students, good morning, good afternoon, good evening sa inyong lahat. For this video lecture, let us talk past 38 on intangible assets. So as you can see in the introductory slide, this is part 1. I don't know how many parts, probably 2 parts or 3 parts. Let's see based on our progress. So on this video lecture, we will be talking mostly on concepts, focusing on the standard past 38. This topic is, how do we say it? If you have built a good foundation in PAS 16 on property, plant, and equipment, this will be easier for you because we will be comparing and well, basically, we will be applying some concepts and principles that we have encountered in past 16. Okay, so let us now begin. What is intangible assets? Okay, so ano po ba ang intangible assets? According to PAS 38, paragraph 8, no, under the definition of terms, and I highlighted here the terminologies that I want you to remember. Ang sinasabi po kasi sa paragraph 8, an intangible asset is what? Identifiable, okay? Non-monetary, lagyan natin ng laser, identifiable, non-monetary asset without physical substance. Okay? So, ang characteristic po ng intangible asset is that it should be identifiable. Later on, we will be talking about the identifiability criteria. Okay? And it is not a monetary asset. O kaya nga po ito ay non-monetary. And take note, etong pangatlong kinulayan natin, walang physical substance. Kasi ang kabaliktaran po ng intangible ay tangible. At pag sinabi nating tangible, nahahawakan. So pag intangible assets, hindi po natin ito nahahawakan. Sir, paano po tayo magkakaroon ng isang asset na hindi natin nahahawakan? At ano-ano po ba yon? O kaya nga po pag-uusapan natin itong past 38. Now, basahin po natin ito at medyo may kahabaan. So, according sa paragraph 9, as presented as well in our reference book and other textbooks, no? Entities frequently expend resources or in the in the process incur liabilities on the acquisition, development, maintenance, or enhancement of intangible resources such as scientific or technical knowledge, design and implementation of new processes or systems, licenses, o licenses dito yung license na spelling, hindi natin na-convert into American English. Okay, but this is how it is spelled in the standard. Intellectual property, market knowledge, and trademarks. At kasama na po dito yung mga brand names at saka mga publishing titles. So, ano-ano po ang mga examples natin under these broad headings, itong category na ito? Computer software. Obvious na. Pag computer software, syempre hindi mo yan nahahawakan. Kasi sa computer, yung nahawakan mo yung mga hardware, di ba? Okay, patents. So mamaya specifically on part 2 of our video lecture, we will briefly define what is a patent, what is a copyright. Okay? Ano pang mga examples natin dito? Motion picture films, customer lists, mortgage servicing rights. Talaga, sir? Mhm. Karapatang mangisda. Okay? Fishing licenses, import quotas, franchises, customer or supplier relationship, customer loyalty, market share, and marketing rights. So ang daming examples po na ipresenta sa atin ng standard. Okay. So dito at least okay. So kaya pala sinasabi na hindi nahahawakan. Kasi totoo naman that you cannot hold this. Although some of the intangible assets are, what do we call this? Embodied, okay? Documented in physical copies. Now, for example, mga documents. Okay, now, proceed tayo. Dito, class, sa binanggit natin sa paragraph 9, take note po ha, hindi automatic na etong mga ito ay intangible assets lahat. Kasi ang sumunod na paragraph, on paragraph 10 ng standard, sinasabi, hindi po lahat ng mga items na nabanggit on the previous paragraph ay intangible asset. Kasi meron po tayong definition. Okay? Pag hindi po na-meet ang isang item, ang definition ng intangible asset, okay? Yung expenditures po na yan to acquire that or to generate it internally. Kasi halimbawa, you are developing computer software. Instead of acquiring it, instead of purchasing a third-party software, gusto mo, gumawa ka ng sarili mong software, pwede naman. So, ito yung sinasabi natin na internally generated. Okay? So, whether you purchased it or you incurred cost to develop, okay, i-recognize po natin yan as expense when incurred if it does not meet the definition of an intangible asset. Ano po ba yung definition criteria natin? Okay. Para po mag-qualify tayo, yung isang item to qualify as an intangible asset, ito po yung criteria po natin. Tatlo po kasi ito. Una, identifiable or yung identifiability na criteria. Dito pa lamang, 'di ba, sa definition, an intangible asset is an identifiable. Okay? So, kailangan po na identifiable siya. Kasi later on in our discussions and particularly on part 2, we will be talking also about a certain asset that we call goodwill. Okay. Yun kasi sige, elaborate natin ito later on. So, dapat ang isang intangible asset, unang criteria, identifiability. You can identify it. And how do we identify an asset? According to the standard on paragraph 12, either of the two, A or B. Pwedeng the asset is identifiable if it is separable. Nahihiwalay, capable of being separated or divided from the entity and sold, transferred, licensed, rented, etc. Okay, so there is the capability of being separated or divided from the entity. Or it arises from contractual or other legal rights. So meron kang karapatan because of a contractual or legal aspect. Okay? Regardless of whether those rights are transferable or separable from the entity or from the other rights and obligations. Take note ha, hindi kailangan na end parehas masatisfy. Naka-or po tayo dito. So either, alinman dito sa dalawa. Pag pumasok sa banga, na-meet po natin yung criteria number 1, which is identifiability. Okay. Pangalawa, let's talk about control. Okay, so this is the second criteria. Definition criteria para masabi natin na intangible asset siya. Critical yung number 1, identifiability, but criteria number 2 is also important. And under paragraph 13 and paragraphs 13 and 14 of the standard. O, ito po yung sinasabi, ano? Kasi dapat kontrolado mo yung asset na yon. Okay? And how do you control it? O, merong control, no? The entity exhibits control over the asset if the entity has the power, meron siyang kapangyarihan na ma-obtain and enjoy, of course, no, the future economic benefits. And by so doing, it restricts others from accessing that asset, no, and for them to benefit that. So pag sinabi nating kontrolado mo yon, meron kang kapangyarihan na mapakinabangan yon at ma-restrict yung iba sa paggamit ng asset na yon. Okay? And where does it come from? Saan nanggagaling yung capacity to control? Oh, usually it stems from legal rights. Okay? That are enforceable in a court of law. Kasi halimbawa, yung mga prangkisa, yung mga lisensya, ito po ay ibinigay ng batas. Okay? Halimbawa, no, ito binigyan po tayo ng example under paragraph 14. Yung mga kaalaman na protected by legal rights, halimbawa yung mga copyrights, if ever you are familiar with this. Okay? Or kung hindi man, oh, sige, i-define natin yan pero momentarily sa second part ng ating video lecture. Restraint of trade agreement, no? Pag pinapayagan, or illegal duty on employees to maintain confidentiality. Okay? So yan po yung mga example na ibinigay po sa atin ng standard. Next slide. In the absence daw of legal rights, it is more difficult to demonstrate control. Pero please take note that the legal enforceability is not a necessary condition for control. Okay? And if we cannot demonstrate the legal rights, we can still say that the entity has control over the asset in some way. At papaano po? Ano yung mga example natin? In the book of Dean Empleo and Prof. Robles, nakalagay po doon yung isang example, no? Repeated transactions for the same or similar non-contractual customers provide evidence that the entity is able to control future economic benefits from the customer relationships. Kasi halimbawa, no, meron kang mga customers at si customer ay repeat customer mo pero wala namang kayong binding contract. Wala namang kayong formal contract, no, na pinagkasunduan. But then because no, happy naman si customer sa iyo, so paulit-ulit na nakikipag-transact siya sa iyo. So although there is no legal rights, no, walang contractual obligation or contractual rights, okay? Pero the entity is still able to exhibit control in some other way. Okay? Next. At ito po yung pangatlo sa tatlong criteria, definition criteria ng intangible assets. Future economic benefits. Okay? So, ito medyo mabilis namang intindihin, hindi naman masyado mahirap intindihin, ano? So, kadalasan, yung future economic benefits ay na-enjoy po natin at nakukuha natin sa pamamagitan ng example dito ay na nakalagay is may include revenue from the sale of products or services. Okay? May future economic benefit ka. Nakapagbenta ka ng produkto. O kaya naman because of cost saving measures. Okay? Hindi ka nga nakapagbenta pero may cost savings or other benefits resulting from the use of the asset by the entity. Halimbawa, the use of intellectual property in a production process may reduce future production costs rather than increase future revenues. Okay? So, future economic benefits, may increase ka sa sales or may cost reduction, beneficial, di ba, sa company. Okay? So, yun po ano, pakitandaan ng take note ha, hindi po yun recognition criteria kung hindi definition, no? Ito yung ating criteria to qualify an intangible asset. Definition criteria. Kasi meron pa po tayong tinatawag na recognition criteria na ipapaliwanag po natin in a few slides. Okay? And that is different from these three criteria. Okay. Now, ito na nga pala. Actually, ito na yun eh. Papunta na tayo doon sa recognition criteria. So, sa paragraph 18 onwards, no, pinakita po sa atin ng standard ang recognition and measurement. So, ang sinasabi po kasi, ang recognition of an item as an intangible asset requires that an entity demonstrate that, of course, that item meets the definition of the intangible asset following your three criteria: identifiability, control, and future economic benefits. Okay? And pangalawa, ito, no, na pag-uusapan natin ngayon, yung recognition criteria. At wag po natin, maihalo yun. Kasi baka mamaya, akalain natin, yung tatlong binanggit natin kani-kanina lamang ay recognition criteria. Hindi po. Iba pa po itong recognition criteria. At sinabi naman po sa atin ng mga sumunod na paragraphs, okay? Particularly in paragraph 21, ito pong intangible asset ay i-recognize lamang po natin if and only if, pag sinabing i-recognize, no, ililibro natin siya, if and only if, una, probable. Ayan, hinighlight po natin, pinalaki natin, ginawa natin ng ibang kulay. It is probable that the expected future benefits, no, will flow to the entity and we can measure the cost reliably. So, probability and cost that can be measured reliably. Diyan po, recognition criteria natin ay dalawa, probable and that the cost can be measured reliably. Yung definition criteria, yun yung tatlo. Okay, now, sir, ano po ito? Okay, medyo textual ito, madami-dami, pero please bear with me. Ito naman, hindi naman po natin ito i-elaborate if you want, no? And if you want to really understand it, you can take your time, no? Especially for my actual students, when you have the copy of this PowerPoint presentation, okay, you can read. Sa mga hindi ko naman estudyante, this is reference naman sa standard and you can access ifrs.org and you can register for free. Okay. Sa paragraph 22 po kasi, ang sinasabi doon, yung assessment ng probability ay sa pamamagitan ng paggagamit, no, ng mga reasonable at supportable assumptions. So we are basing on assumptions, no? Okay? That represents management best estimate. Okay. Sa paragraph 23, ang sinasabi lang po dito, si entity ay gumagamit ng judgment in assessing the degree of certainty. Okay? So, assessment of probability based on management best estimate at gumagamit ng judgment. Okay, now, kasi probability eh. And when we are talking of probability, di ba? Chances of occurring. And we are talking about statistics. Okay, now, let's talk about measurement and initial measurement. Kasi itong recognition criteria, recognition. How about measurement? Ang sinasabi po sa atin generally is that the intangible asset shall be measured initially at cost. Okay? And the cost determination depends on the specific manner of acquiring the intangible asset. And these discussions will be mostly concepts as on our first slide may disclaimer na tayo na mostly conceptual, no? Kasi class, kung naintindihan po ninyo yung discussion natin sa property, plant, and equipment, halos nagmi-mirror, nagpa-parallel. So, an intangible asset, similarly to a property, plant, and equipment can be acquired separately. Pwedeng bilhin. Okay? pwedeng acquired by way of government grant or by business combination, no, by exchange of assets. Okay, pero we will talk about this separately, no, one line at a time. So uunahin na po natin on separate acquisition. So we will be talking about how do we measure the intangible asset initially if the asset is acquired separately or if it is acquired by way of a business combination, so on and so forth. Okay, separate acquisition po tayo. Sa paragraph 27 to 28, ito yung sinasabi. Kapag binili po natin ang intangible asset at kadalasan ito po yung nangyayari, ano? Ito yung common na way of obtaining an intangible asset. Pag binili natin 'yan, syempre kung magkano natin 'yan nabili and any directly attributable cost, di yun yung cost ng ating intangible asset. Okay? So this is not new to us. Yung ganitong mga concept of purchase price and even the directly attributable cost. Kaya nga, somehow, we do not need to explain this deeply kasi nga hindi naman na po ito bago, na-introduce na po ito sa atin sa mga ibang standards na na-discuss na natin. Okay? So, pa-take note na lang ha, sa purchase price, the same with other standards, no? Like on inventory, on PPE, kasama po dyan yung import duties and non-refundable purchase taxes, no? After deducting trade discounts and rebates. And for directly attributable costs, mga examples natin, cost of employee benefits, no? Arising directly, syempre, from bringing the asset to its intended condition. Mga professional fees arising directly from bringing the same, no? And cost of testing whether the asset is functioning po ito na functioning properly. Okay? Ito, hindi po daw ito dapat isinasama as part of the cost of an intangible asset acquired by separate purchase. Okay. Cost of introducing a new product or service. Kasama yung mga advertising and promotional activities. Of course, etong mga advertising and promotional costs, no, understandable naman yan. Cost of conducting business in a new location. Okay? Or with a new class of customer. Kasama na yung mga staff training cost. Hindi po natin yan kinakapitalized. Administration and other general overhead, yes. Cost incurred in using or redeploying an intangible asset or while an asset capable of operating in the manner intended by management has yet to be brought into use. At ang mga initial operating losses. Okay? So, yan po ay expenses when incurred. So, hindi po natin yan kinakapitalized. Okay? Reminders lamang. No? If we acquired the intangible asset, we paid it cash. Siyempre, kung magkano yung binayaran natin, yun yung ating cost. Okay? Siyempre, excluding refundable or creditable purchase taxes. Pag binili po natin yan, beyond normal credit terms, okay, on a deferred basis, no, its purchase price is the, cash price equivalent. And we have talked about the cash price equivalent, no, sa property, plant, and equipment, di ba? Any difference between the cash price equivalent and kung magkano yung total cash outflow, no, para ma-settle yung obligation. Kasi nga, installment, no, or you will be paying it more than maybe, yun nga, beyond the normal credit terms. And syempre, especially if this is long-term, no, yung time value of money. Okay? So, dito nagkakaroon tayo ng maring computation ng present value. Okay? Magkano yung halaga nito in 3 years. Okay? So, any difference is treated as an interest expense over the credit period. Ito po ay makikita natin sa paragraph 32. Also, if we purchase the intangible asset by way of issuing your own equity securities, yung cost ng asset is the fair value of the asset acquired. Magkano yung fair value ng intangible asset? Maliban na lang kung yung fair value ng securities na inisyu mo ay clearly and reliably determinable, edi yun yung gagamitin natin. Pero we will be using the fair value of the asset acquired. Okay? Next. So yun yung ating mga reminders ha. O eto, similarly sa ating discussion ng PAS 16 on property, plant and equipment, okay, incidental operations ha. Any income and related expenses ay recognized immediately in profit or loss at hindi po natin yan kinakapitalize no or ino-offset sa ating intangible asset. So may discussion na po tayo nito sa PPE. Hindi ko na po ito explain mahaba. Okay? Ng maigi. You can read on this and relate it to our discussion before. Okay? O eto. Eto class na discussion on business combination has a separate subject. Okay, kaya nga meron tayong subject na accounting for business combination. Okay? So, pwede kasi na yung intangible asset ay na-acquire because of a purchase of a company. Halimbawa, binili ko ang isang kumpanya. Ako na ang nagmamay-ari ngayon. So, dahil in-acquire mo yung kanyang mga assets, nagkaroon ka ng intangible asset kung may intangible asset yon. Okay. But of course, class, for purposes of our discussion here, medyo mababaw lamang po muna. Okay? In terms of the standard covering business combination, IFRS 3, it will be dealt with separately. Probably in the future, pag natapos na ako sa lahat ng mga standards na pasok sa intermediate accounting, then maybe I can start discussing and preparing materials for AFAR, okay, for advanced accounting. But for now, we will limit our discussion, especially on this acquisition as part of a business combination, okay, on these matters. Pag ang intangible asset ay nabili natin by way of business combination, we will be using the fair value ng asset na yon at the acquisition date. Siguro para lubusan po ninyo itong maintindihan, sa partnership accounting, 'di ba? Pag dalawang um, sole proprietor ay nag-merge para magbuo ng partnership, 'di ba? We are using the fair value of the assets at hindi kung ano yung nasa libro. Okay? O fair value. Kaya ito po ay hindi natin ito minimekus-mekus. Kung hindi may well kahit na if you think is this new? Uh, but not really yung concept Okay? So fair value measurement. Okay. If the asset is separable or arises from contractual or other legal rights, we presume that the fair value can be determined reliably because of the availability of sufficient information. Okay, now, accordingly, ayon po sa PAS 38 and PFRS 3, which is yung standard na humahawak sa business combination. So dito meron kasi tayong dalawang entity, the acquirer and the acquiree. So yung bumili is the acquirer, yung binili is the acquiree. So ang gusto ko lang po dito i-highlight ay irrespective of whether the asset had been recognized by the acquiree before the business combination, okay? Anong sabi dito? I-recognize natin yung intangible asset separate from goodwill. Okay? So, ibig nito sabihin, si acquirer nagre-recognize ng asset separately from goodwill. Meron po tayong illustration po nito pero nasa part 2 ng ating video lecture. Okay? Now, if the project meets the definition of an intangible asset, yung tatlong criteria, especially yung identifiability, syempre we need to recognize an intangible asset. But we will recognize it separately from goodwill. Kasi nga, as explained briefly kanina sa mga naunang slides, no, para kasi yung isa identifiable but the goodwill is not identifiable. Okay? So, yan po ano, acquisition as part of a business combination. So, ganyan muna tayo sa ngayon, pero mamaya babalikan po natin ito para mapag-usapan po natin, ano to sir na goodwill? Okay. Another way of acquiring an intangible asset is by way of a government grant. Si government nagbigay sa iyo ng intangible asset. Okay. So, fair value ang ating cost measure, no? We recognize the intangible asset and measure it initially at its fair value. Okay? Or kung hindi man, if an entity chooses not to recognize the asset initially at fair value, no, the entity can recognize the asset initially at a nominal amount. Okay? Na permitted by PAS 20 on the standard governing government grants and yung mga government assistance. Okay? Plus, take note ha, naka-underline ito, plus any expenditure directly attributable. Okay? So, fair value o kaya naman nominal amount plus any expenditure directly attributable if we acquire the intangible asset by way of a government grant. Okay? So, hopefully malinaw po. Ano? Pang-apat, we can acquire the asset by exchange of assets. Pinagpalit. Okay, palitan, swap po tayo. If you recall, no, sa ating discussion sa PPE, meron pa tayong order of priority. So, somehow we parallel it. Okay? So, we measure the asset at its fair value. Okay? Fair value ng ano? The cost of an intangible asset is measured at fair value. Okay? Unless, yun nga, no? Yung lack of commercial substance or the fair value of the asset received nor the asset given up cannot be reliably measured. So, naalala nyo pa ba yun? Mamaya naman, meron naman tayong reminder dito eh. But for asset, intangible asset acquired by exchange of asset, we measure it at fair value. Depende kung ano yung available na fair value. Fair value ba ng asset received or ng asset given up? Pag hindi available yung fair value or the exchange transaction lacks commercial substance, di gagamitin natin yung carrying amount ng asset given up. Okay? So, ano dito ang nakalagay? May naka-underline. If an entity is able to measure reliably the fair value of either the asset received or the asset given up, gagamitin po natin yung fair value of the asset given up. Unless yung fair value ng asset received is more clearly evident. Okay, so kinaklaro po nito ano, pag pinag-uusapan natin yung fair value of the asset given up, maliban na lang kung mas mas clearly evident yung fair value ng asset received. Okay? Kung hindi yun available o kaya yung transaction lacks commercial substance, di gamitin natin yung carrying asset of the amount given up, of the asset given up. Okay? So that's how we measure initially an intangible asset acquired by way of exchange, palitan. Okay, now, ito po yung medyo focus ng ating discussion dito sa part 1, ano? Kasi yung iba may may similar discussion previously. Pero ano itong internally generated intangible assets? Okay. Siyempre, internally generated, ginawa mo yung intangible asset. You developed it in-house, no? Within. Okay. Now, class, Eto, concern po natin ano, when we develop an intangible asset internally, there is a difficulty in assessing whether that kulang na naman ako ng D, okay, qualifies for recognition. At yung recognition criteria natin is probable at saka yung cost can be measured reliably. Okay, so can we identify whether and when there is an identifiable asset that will generate future economic benefits? And can we determine the cost reliably? Okay, so yun yung problema natin. Now, dito po papasok yung in the life of developing an intangible asset, we should determine anong phase kasi ng ano tayo ng development, okay? Is it under a research? Is it under a development? Or sir, hindi ko po ma-distinguish kung research phase or development phase. Basta research and development na lang yan. Kasi class, the treatment of expenses or the treatment of yung mga cost incurred, will depend nasa ang phase na tayo. As we will elaborate later, yung isa dyan, ine-expense natin, yung isa dyan, kinakapitalize natin. Okay? Oh, take note po nitong nasa baba. Kung hindi po natin ma-distinguish yung dalawang yan, yung mga expenses na na-incur natin, yung mga expenditure on that project, will be expensed as if it were incurred in the research phase only. So pag hindi po natin mapaghiwalay sila, ang ating assumption is that nangyari po yan sa research phase lang. Okay? So crucial, Can we identify the expenditures if it is incurred within the research phase or within the development phase? If yes, pag i-identify natin at paghiwalay natin. But if we cannot identify them, ang assumption natin, lahat po yan ay under the research phase. And under the research phase, all expenses incurred are expensed. And therefore, there is no intangible asset that we will recognize. As per paragraph 54 of PAS 38, ang sinasabi po doon is, ayan, wala po tayong intangible asset, nire-recognized from the research phase of an internal project. Ang mga expenditures natin dyan shall be recognized as expenses when incurred. Okay? So, I hope klaro po yan, In the research phase, sabi dito, according sa sumunod na paragraph, it is difficult, for the company to demonstrate an intangible asset that will generate probable future economic benefits during the research phase. Kaya, expense when incurred muna yan. Pero, sige, bago yung pero na yon, sir, ano bang ibig sabihin ng research? Dinefine naman po yan ng standard sa paragraph 8. Pag sinabi po nating research, original and planned investigation undertaken with the prospect of gaining new scientific or technical knowledge and understanding. O, eto yung nag-iimbestiga ka pa, inaalam mo pa, Kung baga sa mga marites, tamang hinala ka pa muna, You are investigating. So, you are still researching. Okay. Ano ang mga examples po ng research? Activities aimed at obtaining new knowledge. Search for, evaluation, and final selection, application of research findings or other knowledge. Search for alternatives for materials, blah, blah, blah. The formulation, design, evaluation, and final selection of possible alternatives. So these are examples of research activities. Please remember them. Kasi mamaya i-compare natin siya doon naman sa examples ng development. So, search, okay? Naghahanap ka pa whether yung main or alternative, okay? Evaluation, final selection, okay? So, yan po yung research. Uy, hindi ko na edit, no? Yung ating, ano nga ito? Transition, animation. Okay. Development defined naman. Okay, may capitalization criteria kasi. But anyway, sige. Mamaya nyo na muna pansinin yung no, nakalabas na capitalization criteria. Ano naman yung development as compared to research, no? Yung application daw ng research findings is what we call development. Parang science versus technology. Technology is applied science. So, applied research naman yung development. Okay? The application of research findings or other knowledge to a plan or design for the production of new or substantially improved materials. Okay? Basta before the start of commercial production or use. Take note bago, no? Mag-umpisa ang commercial production. Kasi pag commercial production, nagmamass produce ka na. Yung mga cost natin doon, inventoriable na. Okay? So, excuse me. So, that's the difference no between research and development. Now, sa paragraph 57 kasi, eto, mahigpit po yung criteria para masabi natin na yung intangible asset ay nag-arise sa development phase. The entity should demonstrate. Dapat maipakita ni entity na na-demonstrate niya lahat, okay? Lahat ng mga ito, A, B, C, D, E, F. At ito po yung capitalization criteria. Take note lahat hindi pwedeng isa or ilan lang sa kanila. Kailangan maipakita ni entity no na lahat po na yan ay check. Pag lahat po yan ay pasok sa banga, then any costs, any expenditures can be capitalized as part of your intangible asset. Okay? Ano-ano to sir na capitalization criteria natin? Letter A, technical feasibility. Okay? Minsan, makikita po ninyo yung term commercial feasibility and that is different from commercial production. Technical commercial feasibility of completing the intangible asset so that it will be available for use or sale. Intention to complete the intangible asset. Ability to use or sell the intangible asset. How the intangible asset will generate probable future economic benefits. The availability of adequate technical, financial, and other resources to complete the development. And its ability to measure reliably the expenditures. Okay? Siyempre, hindi ko na po, kinumpleto basahin. Pero yung mga keywords natin nandoon sa mga bandang umpisa. So, class, take note. We can only recognize intangible asset if the entity is able to satisfy that it is lahat po na ito ay na-demonstrate. Okay, then any expenses incurred can be capitalized rather than it being expensed when incurred. Okay? So, mahigpit po tayo dyan. Now, in the development phase daw, an entity can identify an intangible asset and demonstrate that the asset will generate probable future economic benefits. And therefore, that is why we can capitalize the asset. Okay? This is because daw, during the development phase, so it's more of advancing, advanced na siya. as compared sa research phase. Kasi nga, application na ng research findings. Halimbawa, nagde-develop ka na ng mga prototypes. Okay? Ito yung mga examples natin. Design, construction, and testing of, take note, pre-production or pre-use ha. Prototypes and models. Design ng mga tools, jigs, molds, and dies. Using new technology. Design, construction, operation of a pilot plant, but that is not of a scale economically feasible. And design, puro design, construction, testing of a chosen alternative. Samantala kanina, search for, evaluation, no? Exploration. Mayroon bang exploration na term? Pero ito, design, construction, testing, no? So these are the terms that you have to familiarize with, no, to remember para ma-separate ninyo yung mga activities between research and development. So, yes, no? Kung na-encounter niyo na po yung mga terms na R&D, research and development. That's why. Okay? So, take note. Naka-highlight pa, no? Dapat hindi niyo yan makalimutan. Internally generated brands, mastheads. Later on, explain natin ano yung mga brands, okay? Publishing titles, customer lists, and items similar in substance shall not be recognized as an intangible asset. Okay? Kasi daw, we cannot distinguish it from the cost of developing the business as a whole. O kaya, hindi po natin siya nire-recognize. Ano gagawin ko? The expense po natin siya when incurred. Pag internally generated tong mga to. But if you acquired it, capitalized. Okay. Oh, kanina, no? Kasi we are talking about initial measurement. So how do we measure internally generated intangible asset? Ang measurement natin is the sum of expenditures incurred from the date that it meets the first, the recognition criteria. And that is your, yun? Okay? Ito, probable, no? And cost can be measured reliably. And dapat ma-demonstrate ito, no? Which is yung capitalization criteria mo. Okay? Demonstrate all. Okay? Now, class, ito sinama na rin natin dahil nabanggit dito yung paragraph 71. Class, kapag in-expense yan dahil pasok siya sa research phase or research and development that cannot be separated, no? Yung dalawa, expense sila. Hindi po natin yan pwedeng i-capitalize later on. No? Bawal po yon. Paragraph 71 prohibits reinstatement of expenditure previously recognized as an expense. Okay? So, bawal. Expense ka na. Okay? Pero yung kinapitalize na naging asset sa ngayon, pwedeng maging expense later on. Yun yung mga subsequent measurement na pag-uusapan natin later on. Okay? So, I hope clear. No? Kung mabilis naman si sir, edi pause naman you can pause the video, take your time. Kung mabagal naman ako para sa inyong panlasa, edi fast forward. Okay. Now, sa paragraph 66, no, kasi pinag-uusapan natin internally generated. Sabi dito, sum of all expenditures from the capitalization date. Okay? Plus directly attributable cost necessary. Okay? So, yun yung ating measurement ng internally generated intangible assets. Ito, mga examples natin. Cost of material ng directly attributable cost, no, for internally generated. Cost of material, services used. Cost of employee benefits. Fees to register illegal right. And amortization of patents and licenses na ginamit to generate the intangible asset. Kasi baka meron kang ibang intangible asset na ginamit para makapag-generate ng panibagong intangible asset that you generated internally. Okay. Ang mga sumusunod ay hindi po cost ng internally generated intangible asset. Ito, obvious naman na ito. No? Selling, general, administrative, identified inefficiency and initial operating losses, mga training costs. So, hindi po yan kasama. Take note na lang nito, unless for selling, administrative, and general overhead, unless it is directly attributed, no, to preparing the asset for use, pero kadalasan hindi. Okay? Ito example natin. Ito yung ilan sa few. Kasi mostly concepts po itong part 1 natin. Love Corporation is developing a new production process for the formulation of an anti-breakup product. Ang dami kasing naghiwalay, di ba? Noong 2023. Research costs incurred were 500,000. Research cost. Okay? Total cost incurred in the development phase is 540,000. 260,000 of which is incurred before October 15. Sir, ano meron sa October 15? Yung October 15 daw kasi, okay, on October 15, technological and commercial feasibility was established. So eto, titignan po ninyo ito sa mga problems baka nakalagay dito. Kasi in the absence of this, okay, development phase, di kakapitalize natin lahat. Pero, paano pa ganito? May development phase at saka mayroong kang technological and commercial feasibility was established. So mamaya, we will briefly explain. The company is able to demonstrate how the new product will be manufactured and sold by the entity, and the cost of registering the patent related to the product is 30,000. Okay, so paano po ito? Compute nyo nga ito. You can pause the video before answering, no? Ang target kasi natin dito sa illustration is to understand magkano yung i-expense natin at magkano yung i-capitalize natin. So you have 500,000 and 540 kung saan mayroong 216 na binanggit and another 30,000. Okay, assuming you have your own answers na, you can play the video and let's discuss. Yung i-capitalize po natin, no, as internally developed patent ay 310. Sir, saan galing yung 310,000? Ito daw yung total development cost after establishing commercial feasibility. So hindi po natin lalahatin yung 540 kasi out of the 540, no, may 260,000 ka incurred before October 15. 540 minus 260, 280. So yung 280 lang talaga doon yung ikakarga natin sa intangible asset. Yun yung ika-capitalize natin. Plus etong 30 mil cost of registering the patent. Therefore, 280, no, difference nitong dalawa, plus 30, that is your 310. Yan lamang yung ika-capitalize natin and the rest ay expense. So debit ka ng patents dito, 310,000. Ito yung intangible asset mo and then the rest are expense, 760. The 500,000 research cost and 260,000 more na tinag under the development phase. Pero yung iba kasi doon, itong 260,000 ay incurred before technological and commercial feasibility. So technically, although that is, they considered it within the development phase, pero hindi pa nasasatisfy lahat ng capitalization criteria. Kaya expense muna dapat yon. And assuming lahat po yun ay expenses made in cash, walang utang, edi credit to cash. Pero kung may mga accrued, no, or incurred obligation, edi may liability tayo doon. Okay? So I hope medyo na-figure out, no? Let's have another illustration. Okay. The entity is developing a new production process And during 2022, expenditure incurred was 1,000, of which 900 was incurred before December 1. Take note ha, ng mga petsa at ng mga amounts. So, meron kang na-incur na 1,900 na-incur before December 1, 100 between December 1 and December 31. And sabi dito sa illustration, the entity was able to demonstrate on December 1, the production process met the criteria for recognition. E di syempre, alam na natin ang gagawin, no? Dapat etong 100 lang ba? Yung 900 expense ba muna? Basta malaman natin yan kung tama yung ating hula, yung ating kuro-kuro, no? The recoverable amount of the know-how embodied in the process is estimated to be 100. Okay. So meron tayong recoverable amount, and when we are talking about recoverable amount, impairment ang pinag-uusapan natin dyan, ano? And that is covered by past 36 na. So later on, we will also include in the discussion yung impairment of asset. So, eto na yung ating explanation. Sa katapusan ng 2022, ang intangible asset lang natin ay 100. Yung 900 ay expense. So, yun lamang po yung pinapaliwanag sa atin dito, nitong ating paragraph na ito. But if you want, you can read this on your own. Whether during my discussion, you can pause it, or directly from your books or from the materials that for my students now that I gave them. Okay, or I gave you. Ito, extended illustration. Eh, nung 2023 daw, the expenditure incurred is 2,000. Sa katapusan ng 2023, yung recoverable amount ay 1,900. Now, take note, and please remember your impairment, no? Na discussion, yung carrying amount when exceeds its recoverable amount, anong sinasabi natin? Meron tayong impairment. Tama ba? Is the carrying amount greater than the recoverable amount? Or is it the other way around? So, kung sakaling nakalimutan nyo yun or medyo tagilid pa kayo doon, kindly revisit. Although later we will illustrate it naman. Okay? So, yung later na yun, eto na. Okay. Class, meron tayong 100 na nakapitalize ng 2022. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yon, idadagdag natin yon. So kung meron kang additional 2,000, yung cost ng production process mo ngayon ay 2,100. However, please take note, no, that meron tayong term na carrying amount. And the carrying amount is not always equal to your cost. No, kasi halimbawa, for property, plant, and equipment, meron tayong accumulated depreciation and accumulated impairment loss. We will mirror it here. We will apply that cost model as well, no? Meron din tayong accumulated amortization. So may ibinabawas doon sa cost para mag-arrive tayo sa carrying amount. So the cost may not necessarily be equal to your carrying amount. So dito, yung cost mo ngayon ay 2,100. Okay, pero class, sabi dito, yung recoverable amount mo ay 1,900. 2,100 is greater than 1,900. Mas malaki yung carrying amount, pero yung recoverable amount mo ay 1,900 lang. Di ibababa mo yung carrying amount sa recoverable amount. Kanina sa illustration natin, 100 versus 500, wala tayong impairment kasi mas malaki yung recoverable amount. Okay? Pero dito kabaligtaran, mas malaki yung cost, okay, versus our what? Ito ating recoverable amount. So in this case, magkakaroon tayo ng recognition ng impairment. So may i-debit tayo ng impairment loss and credit na. Anong kinikredit natin pag may impairment loss for PPE? Binabawas ba natin yun sa sa cost, sa cost ng asset or accumulated. So dito, may journal entry ba? Wala pa. So later on na lang po sa ating mga illustrations. Pero tandaan po ninyo sa discussion ng ating intangible asset, remember your PPE. Kasi halos medyo they share the same concepts and principles except that intangible assets are intangible while PPE are tangible. Okay? So, let us proceed, no? Medyo may kahabaan. Kumusta na kayo? Sana kayo ay gising pa at hindi pa inaantok sa aking explanation. Since this is mostly conceptual. Buti na lang may konting panggulo ng ating isip. May konting computation na simple lang naman. Okay, now let's talk about recognition of an expense. Siyempre, kung hindi na satisfy yung capitalization as an intangible asset, edi expense na siya when incurred, no? Okay? So expenditure shall be recognized as expense when incurred, maliban na lang if it form part of the cost of intangible or the item is acquired in a business combination and cannot be recognized as an intangible asset. Okay? In this case, no, yun yung tinatawag natin na goodwill. But we will talk about it separately. Okay? So, ano pa yung mga examples na ina-expense natin instead of it being capitalized as intangible assets? Ayan. Naka-define naman sa standard. No? Yung sumunod yata ito na paragraph. Expenditures on startup activities or yung tinatawag natin na startup cost. Maliban na lang if included yan sa PPE. Okay? Ano examples ng startup cost natin? Ito nakalagay ha. Legal, secretarial costs. Okay? Expense to open a new facility, yung pre-opening cost. Expense to start a new operation or launch new product, pre-operating cost. So, startup cost, pre-opening cost, pre-operating costs, expenses yan. Training costs, advertising and promotions, okay, cost of relocation or reorganization. They are expenses when incurred. Okay? Oh, after initial recognition, ito mabilis lang ito class. Kasi nga, as I will be showing you later. Hindi pa pala ito, measurement pala after initial recognition yan. Na-advance na ni Sir. Okay, but anyway, sige. Pause muna tayo doon. At dito muna tayo sa slide na ito. Pag may mga expenditures tayo after initial recognition, anong sinasabi? Subsequent to its acquisition, halimbawa, cost of developing, maintaining, or restoring an intangible asset, ay nire-recognize po natin as expense. But hindi ko ito na-highlight. But anyway, class, pa-take note po nito. Expenses after initial recognition, subsequent to its acquisition ay recognized as expense, maliban na lang if they provide economic benefits in excess of the originally assessed standard of performance. Halimbawa, on the same discussion sa PPE, if the expenses were able to increase the useful life or betterment, di kinakapitalize po natin yon instead of it being treated as repairs and maintenance. So, yun class yung ating dito common theme. If it extends the life, if it provides economic benefit in excess of the originally assessed, edi capitalize mo. Otherwise, expense when incurred. Okay? So, yung mga subsequent expenditures, kinakapitalize lamang natin if it extends the useful life or it increases the net cash inflow or it improves the quality of the output. Okay? So, yun lamang po yung kinakapitalize. Else, expense po sila. Now, ito ate example. During 2020, the company spent 180,000 for research and development of a patent. 80,000 of which was development cost incurred after, take note ha, incurred after establishing technological and commercial feasibility. Hindi pa commercial production ha. Okay. The enterprise was able to determine how the patent would be used in its production process. So, that's for 2020. Now, on January 1, 2021, nagbayad siya ng 15,000 para mag-apply and to obtain rights for the patent. Okay? The estimated life was 10 years. Noong 2023, nagbayad siya ng 72 in successfully prosecuting an attempted infringement of its patent rights. Kasi pag meron kang patent, may karapatan ka, no? And you restrict the other, you prohibit the others from using. Okay? Now, so nagkaroon ng kasuhan dito. And successful naman. Yun nga lang, gumasto siya ng 72,000. On January 1, 2024, the company paid 60,000 for a competing patent. Pero hindi siya gagamitin. Para saan pa? Bakit may binili ka pang patent? O para lang protektahan yung kanyang sariling patent. Okay? So, what are the related journal entries at magkano? Accounts and amounts ang pinag-uusapan po natin. Dito muna tayo sa 2020. May ginastos ka na 180,000. 80,000 of which ay development cost. Oh, ito ang ating journal entry. Class, patents in process. Kasi ongoing pa po ito. Ano? And if you remember, on a latter period, nag-apply pa sila ng, nag-apply pa sila para makakuha ng patent. So, ang ginamit ni author ay patents in process. 80,000. Yung lang, no, incurred after establishing technological and commercial feasibility. So, yung 100,000 out of the 180 expense po yun as RNT, credit to cash. That's your journal entry for 2020. Next. Beginning of 2021, may 15,000. Will you capitalize it or expense? So, if you can still recall yung mga previous slides natin, pag may binayaran ka to apply for a rights, no, it is capitalized. So, dito makikita ninyo, at the beginning of 2021, may binayaran ka 15,000, dagdag natin yan doon sa patent. Meron ka nang na-obtain na right, binayaran mo na, nag-apply ka. Assuming successful naman yon, so reclassify lang natin yung patents in process, patents na siya. Kaya nandito na lahat, no, 95,000. Okay? Next. On every year end, starting December 31, 2021, no, dito lang nag-umpisa tayo mag-depreciate. Although, hindi po depreciate ang term na ginagamit natin. For intangible assets, yung counterpart ng depreciation ay amortization. Kaya dito makikita po ninyo, patent amortization or amortization of patents and credit to accumulated amortization. So, similar, no? Yun nga lang for PPE, depreciation and accumulated depreciation. But the concept and the computation is the same. Ito, no, straight line din ang ginagamit natin. So, 95,000 divided by 10 years kasi ito yung sinabi, no, na life of patent, 10 years. The 9,500 every year end. So, beginning December 31, 2021 hanggang sa matapos yung 10 taon, may ganito tayong journal entry. Okay? Next. Beginning ng 2023, may binayaran ng 72,000. Should we capitalize it or expense? O, eto class ay expense. Ang ginamit po ng author ay legal fees. Hindi po yan capitalized as intangible asset. Ha? expense as incurred, when incurred po ito. Okay? This is different from the 15,000 na binayaran to apply for the patent and to obtain the rights. Okay? January 1, 2024, may binayaran 60,000. O eto, expense din po ito. Okay? So, pag tinanong kayo, magkano yung carrying amount ng patent as of December 31, 2024? Eh di take note, no, meron tayong amortization every year na 9,500 beginning 2021. So, 21, 22, 23, 24. Apat na taon na po yung nag-expire. So, 9,500 times 4 na yung ating accumulated amortization. Ibabawas natin yon doon sa 95,000. Okay? So, 19 at 95 plus 95, 19 times 2, 38. So, 95,000 minus 38. That is your carrying amount or carrying value. Pero hindi naman dito tinatanong, no? Dinagdag ko lang sa ating kwento. Okay? So, that's it, no? Yun po yung, anyway, meron naman po tayong mga additional discussions, additional illustrations to solve problems later on. Okay? Pero, siguro for part 1, hanggang dito muna tayo. For illustrations pero yung video hindi pa po nagtatapos. Pero malapit na, don't worry. Next, measurement after recognition tayo. O, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na-excite ako masyado. Subsequent to initial measurement, we will measure the intangible asset either using the cost model or the revaluation model. Okay? So, ayan, And our discussion of cost model and revaluation model in the context of intangible asset parallels the discussion in PPE. Kaya po hindi na po natin ito pag-uusapan. Ang nabago dito na term ay amortization. Okay? At pag sinabi natin class na amortization, dahil nagamit na rin natin ito kanina sa journal entry, amortization is the systematic allocation of the depreciable amount of an intangible asset over its useful life. No? Parang depreciation. Pero hindi po natin ginagamit yung term na depreciation for intangible asset. Only amortization and siyempre accumulated amortization. All right? So we will not elaborate on this one because yun nga, sabi ko nga, pinaparallel lang naman nitong intangible asset, yung cost model and revaluation model sa PPE. So we can go back sa discussion ng PPE para dito sa cost and revaluation. Okay? Useful life. Okay. Ano ang useful life ng intangible asset? May mga intangible assets kasi na limited. At pag limited yung term, finite. Okay? Pero pag medyo we cannot put an end, doon sa gaano ko katagal ito ma-enjoy, di indefinite. Although, in the context of this discussion, indefinite is not equal to infinite. Okay? Hindi ko na nga lang sinama yung excerpt sa standard discussing bakit hindi siya infinite, bakit siya indefinite. But if you want, you can visit the standard para hanapin yung portion na yon. Somewhere after mga paragraph 88 yata. Okay, class. Pag yung intangible asset, ang useful life niya ay limited, finite siya. So, ito yung ina-amortize natin or dinidepreciate, but the term is ina-amortize. If finite, the length of or number of production or similar units constituting that useful life, magkano or gaano katagal, finite siya. So, sa paragraph 88, yung intangible, ito ay buong paragraph 88. Chinap-chap, pinag-iwalay ko lang, para lang ma-emphasize if finite or if indefinite. Plus, ang intangible asset ay indefinite yung useful life if based on the analysis ng mga relevant factors, walang foreseeable limit. Hindi natin masabi kung hanggang kailan ito magagamit or hanggang kailan natin in-expect na mag-generate ito ng cash inflow. Kaya natin ginagamit yung term na indefinite. And when the useful life is indefinite, we will not amortize it, but we can test for impairment. Okay? So, yan ano, pag finite, ina-amortize. Pag indefinite, hindi ina-amortize, but tested frequently, no? Periodically for impairment. Okay? Ang mga sumusunod ay mga factors in considering the useful life. Expected usage. Hindi ko na po ito babasahin ng buo, pero naka-highlight po dito yung mga terms na ano no, you might want to remember. Expected na paggamit, typical product life cycle, and information on estimates of useful life. Obsolescence, whether from technical, technological, or commercial. Stability ng industry. Actions by competitors. Okay? Level of maintenance. Gaano mo inaalagaan yung intangible na yun. Pag, parang sa PPE, ano, pag inaalagaan mo, matagal ang buhay. Okay? Period of control or legal and or similar limits on the use of that asset. Kasi may mga intangible assets na may legal limits. Okay? Or yung dependency ng useful life sa ibang assets. Okay? Or dependency on the useful life of other assets. Okay, so these are the factors that you should consider in determining the useful life of the asset. All right, next. Ito, no? Please take note. Yung useful life ng intangible asset arising from contractual or other legal rights should not exceed the period of the contractual or other legal rights. So, hindi dapat sumobra kung meron tayong limit, no, contractual or legal limit, hanggang doon lang. But it may be shorter. Okay. Now, sa paragraph 94, sinasabi, renewable ba yan or hindi? Or reacquired sa isang business combination. Pag renewable, okay, isasama natin yung renewal periods. Kung may ebidensya to support the renewal without significant cost. But if the intangible asset is reacquired in a business combination, okay, ilan yung remaining contractual period? Yun yung useful life na gagamitin natin. And it shall not include renewal periods. If reacquired in a business combination, ha? Okay, take note. Okay. So, yung mga nakapula, yung mga hinighlight natin, yung mga naka-bold face font. Okay? Now, if the useful life is determined, because nga, pinag-uusapan natin, finite siya, how do we amortize? When do we begin? When does it end? Okay? Of course, we will amortize when the asset is available for use. Kaya nga sa example natin kanina, di ba? Although may patent na tayo ng 2020, pero nag-umpisa tayo mag-depreciate o mag-amortize 2021. Okay? Kailan tayo magtatapos? At the earlier date, no, that the asset is classified as held for sale. Plus, we will be talking PFRS 5 separately. Okay? And the date that the asset is derecognized. So, alin, earlier date ha? Hindi mo na gagamitin yung intangible asset. Ibebenta mo na lang. I-reclassify natin yan as non-current asset held for sale. Okay? Applying the principles of IFRS 5. Or i-recognize mo na siya. Okay? Plus, about amortization, similar sa depreciation, tapon sa P&L. amortization expense. Okay? Unless another standard permits or requires it to be included in the carrying amount of another asset. Halimbawa, yung example natin, kung meron tayong ginamit na patent, okay, in developing another intangible asset, edi kakapitalize na, excuse me, kakapitalize natin siya as part of product cost, inventoriable. Okay? What else? Ano to? Okay. Umangat lang, no? Pero, ito lamang yon. Class, since we are amortizing, nag-amortize po tayo. Review. Tama ba yung amortization na ginagamit natin? Kasi nga, yung amortization method na ginagamit natin reflects the pattern, okay, in which the asset's future economic benefits are expected to be consumed. Now, if there is change, di syempre, we should reflect the method that best reflects the pattern. Okay? At kung sakali man, papasok si PAS 8 or si IS 8, change in accounting estimate, yung change in the amortization method. Ito hindi naman na ito bago kasi ganun din naman ito sa PAS 16, di ba? So, naka-reflect na, naka-parallel siya. Amortization ng intangible asset with an indefinite useful life. Sabi natin, hindi natin ina-amortize but tested for impairment. Okay? When? Annually or whenever there is an indication that the intangible asset may be impaired. Okay? Ayan. The useful life of an intangible asset that is not being amortized shall be reviewed each period. At kung sakali man may change from indefinite to finite, the change in accounting estimate. Again, estimate mamaya isipin nyo, change in accounting policy. Magkaiba po yun. Kasi pag estimate, ang sabi sa PAS 8, prospective. Pag accounting policy, retrospective. Okay? When events and circumstances do not support anymore an indefinite life assessment and therefore may change in accounting estimate tayo from indefinite to finite, yung assets carrying amount shall be amortized na over the determined expected remaining useful life. Alright? Maliwanag? Sir, maliwanag po, no? Okay. Pinag-usapan natin, useful life, residual value. So, ito, ang gusto ko ditong i-highlight class, no? Unlike sa PPE, although sometimes, no, applicable din naman sa PPE. Pero dito, sinabi sa paragraph 100, yung residual value ng isang intangible asset with a finite useful life is assumed to be zero. Maliban na lang kung merong commitment, okay, or may active market for that asset. Okay? Recoverability ng carrying amount for impairment loss, we will apply PAS 36. Okay? So, in-explain doon paano. Now, we have a separate discussion for PAS 36, impairment. Okay? Retirement and disposals, malapit na po tayo matapos. Class, ang sumasakop na paragraph ay paragraph 112 and 113. Siyempre, ito yung derecognition. Okay? Pag dinispose mo, binenta mo. Or ni-retire mo na siya kasi wala ka ng pakinabang doon. Okay? Plus kung sakali man, we may recognize a gain or loss arising from the derecognition, which is the difference between the net disposal proceeds and the carrying amount of the asset. And that is taken to P&L, profit or loss. Maliban na lang if that is under a sale and leaseback under IFRS 16. Kasi class, pwede mong i-lease. And when you lease it, it is long term. IFRS 16 on leases will be applied. So gain shall not be classified as revenue because revenue is different from gain. Okay? And lastly, ayan, na late, no? Okay, and lastly class, for the disclosure, eto tinatamad na si sir. Okay, ang haba-haba na ng ating discussion. And yes, for disclosures, medyo mahaba yun. Nakaganitong classification siya, groupings, no? Ang disclosures, general, intangible assets measured after recognition using the revaluation model. On disclosures about research and development expenditure and other information. Pakibasa na lamang po, ano? Doon sa libro or directly from ifrs.org. Okay? So with that, let me end this session, this part 1 video lecture. Sana po ay nabusog kayo at naintindihan po ninyo yung mga concepts and you are ready now to take on the part 2 which is more of examples and later on mga illustrations, sample problem solvings. Okay? So maraming salamat. Hanggang dito po muna itong part 1 natin na video lecture on PAS 38, Intangible Assets. I'll see you around on the next video lecture soon, ASAP. Thank you. Bye-bye.